Thank you for watching and listening to the 10-Minute Checkpoint Podcast with SanchoWest. YouTube gaming versus Twitch. Let's go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock, and here we go. All right, for those of you who don't know, I am a Twitch partner, so that is going to be the first thing I say, get that out the gate. But this has been a long time battle between YouTube gaming and Twitch has always been the leader of the pack when it comes to the number of hours watched on live streaming services. Of course, YouTube gaming recently has been making a comeback by getting some big name streamers like Dr. Lupo and TimTheTatman. And recently, both sides have been trying to find out new implementations or new kind of features to get more people on their respective platforms, to get more eyes on their platforms as well. And just recently, Twitch has announced that they are introducing a way for viewers to boost their favorite streamer stream via real hard, cold earned cash, real moolah, real clams, whatever you want to say it. So you could basically pay, and the Twitch side of things will kind of activate and boost the streamer to recommendations. So people go like, oh, Twitch is recommending that, I should check them out. I want to go ahead and do that. Now, in the past, Twitch has experimented different ways to use this boost feature via channel points, which is just fake points for internet points for time watch on a respective channel. You could go ahead and cash those in or coin them in, and all of a sudden the boost happens. It says, as a streamer, it shows you your stream is being boosted. Now, I, for one, don't know if it actually works. I haven't seen an increase in numbers when it was implemented in the channel points. My viewers asked me, would they want them to boost the stream? And I was like, listen, I don't know. It's a very loaded question because I, for one, don't know how it works, because I always feel like Twitch discoverability never really doesn't matter. It's all about your view count. And of course, in theory, if you boost the streams, you get more viewers, get on higher in the directory, and all of a sudden, boom, people will come over to your stream. Listen, I don't really necessarily want a huge audience when it comes to view counts. I want to do it the organic way. I've always felt that's the best way for me as a content creator. I've had opportunities where all of a sudden you're just boosted to the moon in terms of viewers, but it's not long lasting. I want people to follow the channel. I want people to engage the channel and interact with the channel naturally, not through some sort of a boost feature or some sort of algorithm. So today, the YouTube gaming side of things, Ryan Wyatt, or Fwiz, basically kind of tweeted out a video describing to the new changes of YouTube gaming. This is the head of gaming at YouTube, by the way. So recently, like I mentioned, Dr. Lupo, TimTheTatman, some big streamers coming over to the YouTube side of things from the Twitch world, and they've been getting more and more features. Of course, you know, I have to give credit to Courage JD, Valkyrie, of course, in the past, to that be able to start this migration to get some validity to YouTube gaming. Just to give you a brief history on it, YouTube gaming essentially had a landing page that kind of described it. You go to gaming.youtube.com, and all of a sudden it had everything kind of categorized as if it was its own platform. Fortunately, that kind of folded, and YouTube kind of took over it. Now YouTube gaming is kind of in this weird limbo space. And that, to me, is going to be a red flag, which is going to be more on that later. But let's go back to what Ryan Wyatt, basically the leader of YouTube gaming. Let me get his title correct once again. The head of gaming. He talked about there's going to be new features like gifted memberships, improved live discoverability, and live monetization. There's about 10 different ways to get monetization on YouTube gaming. And of course, they want to expand upon clips, which is a new feature that you can watch a stream and then basically clip it out and make it seamless with YouTube Shorts, which of course has received its own $100 million funding to be able to grow the YouTube short things to compete with TikTok and other short form things like Instagram stories and Reels, and one of those fun things, and new mod tools and more. So this video that Ryan kind of talked about was just championing a lot of things that YouTube gaming is doing correct. Their new high basically their high bit rates, or their ability to rewind, and at the same time, the ability just to have greater control when it comes to for the streamers and things of that sort. And the great thing about it is the gifted memberships has been something that a lot of people have been asking for. Courage JD was asking for the clips. That's something that a lot of streamers are doing. But regardless of all things, even though YouTube gaming does have a lot of the esports competitive side of things, like the new Call of Duty League and things of that sort, the biggest factor that I feel about YouTube gaming, if you're out there and you're listening, you want to figure out how to be a streamer, it's beyond just streaming. It's beyond just going live. And that's the real tricky part about this entire thing. Now, YouTube gaming is making the right moves, but there's a couple of hurdles I still think that it needs to overcome to be a better platform or to compete a little bit better when it comes to Twitch. There's one thing that Twitch does have really done well, and that is cultivating a culture around the community. I always feel that Twitch puts on a lot of great events that just bring in other streamers together. YouTube gaming or YouTube side of things, it can be quite lonely being a streamer. It's hard to organize tournaments. It's hard to organize collabing with other streamers, where Twitch makes that very easy. It's something where it's a part of the culture. But as a YouTuber, which I was able to do I'm still doing 10 years. You're watching this on YouTube as a video on demand. It's very difficult to collab with other YouTubers. And the ecosystem of collaboration is a little bit different. On the Twitch side of things, when you collab, that's why we've seen a lot of Among Us streamers just blow up out of nowhere, because the collaboration was easy. You could raid, you could host, and all that stuff is coming to YouTube, yes. But those are things that are working for Twitch, the sense of community. Also, as well with Twitch Rivals. Now, just to make it clear as well, I am a host and caster for a lot of Twitch programs, and that is what's keeping me on the Twitch side of things more than ever. Is I have the ability to host, I have the ability to cast things, I have the ability to work other muscles and other opportunities that could get me ready for other real world situations in terms of like IRL things like TV shows and game shows and things like that I would never be able to do on the YouTube side of things, because YouTube gaming has not invested in some programming. There's no central hub. Going back to the original red flag that I talked about, there isn't a landing page that is easy to find. Everything is still through the confines of YouTube. And when you ask people about YouTube, it's not about streaming, it's about video on demand content. And that is what YouTube is a champion of. But the whole thing that I kind of mentioned is that YouTube in itself, and I worked for a digital media company. So I'm just giving you some of my resume just to let you know I am speaking with a little bit of validity when it comes into this argument. Is that I worked for a digital media company for the longest time, and there was a moment when YouTube was pushing a certain thing. And YouTube does do this. The algorithm changes and it pushes certain things. And this company, we were like, man, there was 2 buildings worth in Los Angeles, huge offices, and we were doing really well. And all of a sudden, we're gaining traction, right? We're getting a lot of views. And then Facebook starts appearing as a live video kind of contender. And all of a sudden, you know, they're competing back and forth, Facebook video and YouTube. Facebook is kind of changing the way they do their algorithms for videos and what it counts for a video. But at the end of the day, when it ended up happening, my digital media company that I worked for collapsed and went bankrupt. It went kablooey. That's it. Literally, we got let go within like 24 hours. That's how fast it happened. And the reason why it happened so quickly is because when companies like YouTube or Facebook and things like that, they could change the algorithm. And I'm not seeing it's done in a malicious way, is that there's different kind of attributes for a video: watch time, click-through rate, all these different stats that affect a video success. And when a whole kind of digital media company relies so much on the revenue, granted, the digital media company wasn't really built to last long, when it relies so much on algorithms and things of that sort, it could change on the dime. And that is always my main concern about doing a YouTube gaming streaming. Right now, the algorithm is benefiting a lot of recommendations when it comes to live gaming, because that is what they're focusing at the moment. And so when I hear these good things from YouTube gaming, I always have to question that, the algorithm, the almighty algorithm, which controls a lot, because there is not enough manpower to watch the amount of content that's being produced. Back a couple of years ago, like maybe 5 years ago, there was a statistic that said that 7 years worth of content is uploaded to YouTube. So how can you, expect anybody on the YouTube side of things to kind of police it, to kind of like make sure that they're going to promote certain things? It's not possible. So that they're really relying on an algorithm. Whereas Twitch, on the other side of things, they really rely on this old-fashioned way of, hey, you have the most viewers, you're on top of the directory. So now Twitch is trying to find different ways to kind of make discoverability a thing. Granted, I'm not quite sure if this is the best way of doing it, but I'm the kind of guy or streamer that is like, look, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to put my head to the ground and just work and grind and see what happens. But there's different ways to get successful in Twitch. My way is just working more so in terms of hosting and casting, and that is where my big main income comes from. I'm just hitting things all over the place. That's where my main income thing comes from. So let me just go back to a couple points, because we're a little bit of time extended here at 10 minutes. YouTube gaming versus Twitch. What's the right platform? At this point, I really think that you need to be able to do everything, regardless of where you stream. If you're a YouTuber and you want to stream on YouTube gaming, you have to be sure that you make your content into YouTube Shorts. You have to make sure that you make video on demands, that you make awesome stuff from your live stream. Like that has to be a priority. The thing that you have to work with, the hurdle, and I hear this from a lot of my YouTube friends that now moved over to Twitch. This was in the past. I'm not sure if it's different, but the notification system is very particular when it comes to live streams and versus via videos on demand. That it's so tricky that you can't stream and then upload a video at the same time because the algorithm is not going to let you send notifications or spam notifications to all your subscribers. So that's where it gets tricky. There's a couple games that you have to play. That's why TimTheTatman, when he goes live on his main channel, but he uploads videos on his secondary channels and in his shorts because he doesn't want to mess with the algorithm or the notification systems. So there's a couple of hurdles and a couple of things that YouTube Gaming has to clear out just to be a little bit clearer. YouTube Gaming needs a landing page. YouTube Gaming needs a community base or kind of a production company that create YouTube Gaming centric tournaments, YouTube Gaming centric collaborations, a little bit cleaner. It needs to go back to the way of separating YouTube Gaming and YouTube as a whole to be its own landing page, like I mentioned before. But they're doing it. YouTube Gaming is there. And to go back to a little bit of points, just to backtrack a little bit. So you're a streamer. You have to do these different things. You literally have to almost feels like you're working a lot more hours than you can, but it is a really tough job here. It's a tough dream job to get down, but you can do it if you're willing to put the work in it. If on the Twitch side of things, you can't just stream long hours. You have to convert your stuff into short form content. You need to upload to YouTube. One hand washes the other. So when it comes to this whole battle between YouTube Gaming and Twitch, there's us, the viewers, the streamers, the people that are just enjoying the different platforms, right? I love Twitch because it's given me a huge career and it's opened me up to so many different doors. I love YouTube because it jump-started everything. It gave me a place, a platform to be able to share my creativity. It gave me an audience to be able to transition over to Twitch. One hand washes the other. It is not a thing where you could kind of put them against the two. If you want to be successful, you need to do both. If you want these streaming platforms to be successful, they both need to coexist. One's going to challenge the other and one's going to make each other better. Both sides have different issues. Both sides are looking to get better. And this is what I'm excited to see what happens further and further. YouTube Gaming is going to push Twitch. Twitch is going to push YouTube Gaming. And we cannot forget, Facebook's there around. So that is the 10-minute time extended checkpoint. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you have any questions or anything like that, put them in the YouTube comments. If you're an inspired streamer, I'd be happy to help you out there. Of course, if you're listening on your podcast services, make sure to follow and rate it high. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.